We are 17 days out from the start of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, and that means it's SOLAS Big Boat Challenge Day, the charge of the Light Brigade on water. Welcome to this live stream, and joining me is sailing royalty, Olivia Price and Peter Shipway. Olivia, what can we look forward to?
The sun's out, it's a glorious day. We're hoping for the wind to build as the race progresses, but it is the last race of the Australian Maxi Championship. Now, URM is leading the point score overall, so there's plenty to play for in the overall, not just line honours.
And Pete, 4 100-footers at each other's throats.
Yeah, very exciting, Gordon. On a short, sharp course like this, the start all important. And we've seen so far in the series that Comanche has been very dominant, Master Lock Comanche, but yesterday in the second race, Law Connect got the money, so it's going to be very, very tight on the starting line, and I'm sure we're going to see plenty of thrills.
And yes, we're now aboard the Sail Media Camera Cat, and although it's pretty well a cloudless sky overhead, Olivia, it's certainly a little on the hazy side.
Yes, Gordon, it is a bit hazy because of the bushfires up on the Central Coast, just north of us here on Sydney Harbour. So we are thinking of everyone that's going through that sort of stuff, and that's why you can see that haze today. But the breeze is starting to build.
And Peter Shipway, as we look at the course, it starts here off Double Bay up to Cannae Point. Take us through it.
Yes, Gordon, it's the breeze is in the east-northeast at the moment, and the course start is down off Double Bay, Clark Island, for those familiar with Sydney Harbour. Then we're going to be on the wind up to Cannae Point, near Manly, just south of Manly, just go through the heads, then come back down around Shark Island, the Sailing Association marked there, round the island itself, then back to Cannae, back down to Shark Island, to starboard, and then to finish at the eastern side of the famous Sydney Opera House. So a quick course for these big boys today, and girls. They will be doing this course very quickly, especially when they get around the Cannae Point mark, coming back towards Shark Island. Beautiful conditions on the harbour, but very smoky, as Olivia said, and there the boats. We've still got about 20 minutes to go to start time at 12:30 Sydney time here, but lovely conditions, a lot of spectator craft out, as you can see, and they're going to be in for a real treat.
Well, the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge is a standalone annual event, is the last full-bore speed test for the maxi races before the Rolex Sydney Hobart on Boxing Day. 4 100-footers, 4 mini maxis from 60 to 79 feet are on the starting blocks this afternoon.
Yeah, it's very exciting being the last race of the Australian Maxi Championship. It's been a fantastic weekend of racing with everyone really putting their final touches before the Rolex Sydney Hobart. But this one is really special to all these super maxis and maxis out here today because it really is the last race before the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Well, it's the, as you say, the final race of the 2025 Australian Maxi Championship, conducted over the past 5 days. And URM Group, Olivia, you actually sailed a couple of the races on URM Group in the Audi Centre Sydney Blue Water point score, and they've been nothing short of sensational.
It's been a fantastic season and a bit of a comeback for them. They're leading the Australian Maxi Championship standings on 5 points, ahead of Moneypenny on 12 points. No Limits, it's in third place on 13 points. Master Lock Comanche on 14 points in fourth. In fifth is Law Connect on 17 points, and rounding out the top 6, SHK Scallywag on 22 points.
And Peter, 2 events in one to be decided today, the SOLAS Big Boat winner and the Australian Maxi Champion, and trophies for the overall and line honours winners in both of those events, the SOLAS Big Boat and the Maxi Championship. So it's all to be decided here today on Sydney Harbour.
Well, interestingly, Gordon, that Master Lock Comanche, very dominant in the Cabbage Tree Island race on Friday afternoon. They got home, beat Law Connect home by well over an hour, and then have won all the other races on line honours up till yesterday afternoon, when in the second race, Law Connect, in rather fresh conditions with a massive righting moment, got home by over a minute over Master Lock Comanche. So probably conditions not favouring Law Connect so much today. This breeze only at the moment about 8 to 9 knots. It's expected to build, but I think the race will be well done and dusted by the time this breeze gets much fresher. So there we're looking there at Master Lock Comanche just off Bradley's Head. And Wild Oats 10, not to be confused with Wild Oats 11. which is now Palm Beach 11. Wild Oats 10 is racing today, making her first appearance. Mark Richards back at the helm of Wild Oats 10. And that's wonderful to see her out. Grant Simmer aboard as a tactician. Some really good sailors aboard. So she will give a lot of these boats a hurry up on corrected time.
Well, there are a lot of spectators out here today on the harbour for this SOLAS Big Boat Challenge for 2025. Yes, the Mini Maxis, URM Group, Money Penny, No Limit, and as Peter mentioned, Wild Oats 10. And of course, the 4 100-footers, Masterlock Comanche, Law Connect, Wild Thing 100, and SHK Scallywag. And when we get Palm Beach 11 taking part in the Rolex Sydney Hobart, Matt Allen said it's the greatest fleet of 100-foot ocean racing maxis that we've ever seen. So how exciting, Olivia?
Exactly. You know, he further said, you know, throwing around these big boats, these super maxis, is a bit of fun and adrenaline. So that's sure to be what we see when even more boats join us for the Rolex Sydney Hobart. But today, the tight course racing is really going to put pressure on the teamwork and those manoeuvres around all the marks that Peter was explaining earlier. We're just having a look at our Oz Maxi Championship leaders for the point score overall in URM. You know, I've been part of that team and been lucky enough to be included in some of their offshore racing experience. And I know they've been really happy with their performance over the last weekend. Was speaking to David Johnston, who is one of the co-owners this morning. He's very happy with how the series has been going and really looking forward to an exciting day ahead. And also, little shout out to my husband on board as well, the URM group. So I may have a little favourite for today, Gordon and Peter.
Well, Tom is also working, I think, from 6 in the morning till midnight every day on Palm Beach 11, which is going to be launched tomorrow.
Yes, it is an exciting launch tomorrow at Woolwich Dock for, you know, a bit of media. There is still some work to be done on the boat itself, but it's definitely looking in great shape for the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
There's David Goats's No Limit. She went very well yesterday in the two races, a third and a second. Billy Merrington on board, Bruce Clark, some real strong crew members there. And she has had a place in the Rolex Sydney Hobart race. She was third in 2018 as Voodoo. So David's put a lot of work into the program as Wild Oats 10 goes across in front of the screen. The breeze now a little bit more east than when we first came out here. The boats are high on starboard, so they're going to be long starboards and short ports at the moment, certainly off the starting line. Maybe when they get further up the harbour, it's more into the northeast, I think, so it will head slightly on starboard as they get further up the harbour.
It is fantastic to see Wild Oats 10 out here, and you know, they're pulling together a fantastic crew, which is partly going to be on board for the Palm Beach 11 as well. You know, incredible shout out to Alice Parker, who's navigating, and also Emma Roberts, two females on board for this SOLAS Big Boat Challenge. So it's incredible to see them out here, and you know, can't wait to see them on the at least Alice on the big boat.
Well, there's the favourite, I would think, for line honours, Masterlock Comanche, just tacking off the start line, and probably J1 headsail at this stage. It's fairly light, only about 8 to 9 knots at best, but the breeze forecast to come in a little bit more to get round to the southeast. I don't know whether that's going to come through before this race is concluded, but at the moment it's east-northeast at the starting area of Double Bay, just down to leeward of Masterlock, of course, the handicap leader, URM. Marcus Ashley Jones is the skipper for the Johnson brothers. I was speaking to Marcus yesterday. He said they're very happy, obviously, with the way the boat's going. Still a little tweak or two to with the mast, but there's Mark Richards at the helm of Wild Oats 10. And in the background is Money Penny, Rob Appleyard from Western Australia, who's running second on point score at this stage. They've performed creditably. They got a good third in their Maxi division in the Cabbage Tree Island race.
Wild Oats 10, Peter, is the reigning Australian Maxi Championship, having protested successfully last year against URM Group. URM Group has been the Australian Maxi Champion in 2022 and 23. They looked as though they'd done it again last year, but there was an incident at the start with Wild Oats 10 involving one of the exclusion markers, which apparently had drifted, and they were penalised, which gave it to Wild Oats 10. So Law Connect with an army of people on board.
Yes, we've heard there's about 29 people on board Law Connect today. Obviously, it is the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge, raising money for Safety of Lives at Sea trusts. And there's been a couple of positions on board these Super Maxis auctioned off over the last couple of days. And so we'll see a few of them out there having the ride of their life on these 100-foot yachts around Sydney Harbour.
Yes, they have $11,000 raised by each berth on these boats here today, which is a terrific result. And the SOLAS Trust has raised over $3 million. It was formed 26 years ago in 1999, driven by Dave Kellett, a man who has been to Hobart both on the radio relay vessel and as a winning yachtsman no less than 48 times. So a legend of the sport here, David Kellett. And he's out on Charles Curran's Sydney today to watch the action. But this is one of the biggest spectator fleets we've seen, Peter, for some time.
Well, such a lovely day on the harbour, as we keep emphasising. But also, each boat has got a guest on board that has bid for a position for funds to go to SOLAS. So it's wonderful, as you said, that they do great work, the SOLAS Trust, and they're being rewarded today by a guest on every boat. And what a day you're going to, if you're not in sailor, to get out there, it is absolutely perfect.
Since 2006, the CYCA has dedicated the event to raise awareness and funds for the CYCA Safety of Life at Sea Trust. Less than 4 minutes now to the starting sequence. And, as well as being Australia's premier ocean racing club, the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia is the perfect location for functions, dining and drinks by water. Open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
And just going back to the Safety of Lives at Sea Trust, I did hear a story around the docks recently overnight that the SHK Scallywag team have raised more than $3,450 in support of the CYCA SOLAS Trust because their rib driver, also known as, or Graham Taylor, known as GT, decided to get a bit sporty, dye his hair blonde and replicate Hulk Hogan, because in the previous race last year that they were racing at the Rolex Fastnet, Hulk Hogan unfortunately passed away just before and there was a dare. So Hulk Hogan is out here in spirit with the Team Scallywag, also raising money for the CYCA SOLAS Life Trust.
And of course, Hulk Hogan was a massive supporter. He was there for the victory celebrations for President Donald Trump earlier this year. So very sad to see the legendary Hulk Hogan leave our planet, but represented in spirit here today.
Well, while we're just looking at No Limit going upwind there, this breeze has gone into the right a lot more than it was when we came out half an hour ago. So it's going to be even longer on starboard tack up the harbour. And when we see no Limit going up there, he's not on a ley line to Canai Point, but he's fairly high on starboard. But I think up near the Western Channel pile at this stage, a little bit more left. But anyway, we'll see as they get off the line how they are heading towards Canai. But at the moment, long starboard tack off the line, that is for sure.
As Limit, No Limit was launched 3 weeks before the 2008 Hobart race and then won the Auckland Noumea race with Lion Honours and every eligible class on handicap. So it was a stunning start to her career, and they've certainly maintained that consistency over the last 17 years.
And so we're not far away from the 5-minute warning signal of just 1 minute away from the warning signal, and we can see that everyone's got their sails up, ready. We'd be looking at mostly the biggest jibs we could have up here with this light pressure. So it's going to be an interesting start. We're getting ready for that 5-minute warning signal.
Just the reading off the Western Channel pile, which is always a good indicator, up off George's Head near Obelisk Bay. For those that are familiar with the harbour, we've got east-northeast at 8 knots, gusting to 9 knots. So at around that 8 to 9 knots, that's the breeze strength we've got here at the start area. And it's definitely in the east-northeast right here at the start line off Double Bay, Clark Island area. So as we're looking at Master Lock Comanche powering towards us, and hope we can get out of the way, or they can get out of the way, but could ruin everyone's day. There we go. Signals are just going up on the committee boat. 5 minutes to go for this year's SOLAS Big Boat Challenge on Sydney Harbour.
And Olivia, the start so important. Historically, in this SOLAS Big Boat Challenge, the 100-footer that wins the start has a brilliant opportunity to then control the race. And Master Lock Comanche and Law Connect, they have this rivalry over the last few years. It's been nip and tuck. So they're really eyeing each other now with just over 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, with, 4 100-foot Super Maxis, the harbour does feel very crowded as they do their 1.5 laps of the harbour. We've seen in this last 5 or so minutes the Law Connect and Master Lock Comanche having all their sails up, really lining up the start line to figure out how far they need to be to the right of the start, near the boat end of the line, to try and make their way as far as they can towards Bradley's Head. So really tactical, as this start has always predicted.
4 minutes to go, just under. There's Wild Oats 10. Back to racing, which is great to see. They've been doing a lot of Wednesday afternoon social racing, but this is their first serious hit out for this season. Mark Richards at the helm, just going down to the leeward wheel as they jibe over. So the breeze still about 8 knots here, but these boats will get pretty wicked up pretty quickly. And game on certainly in the next couple of minutes to get this starting line well positioned for them. And it's going to be a bit of a race towards Bradley's Head, but I think they'll be above Bradley's Head off the start line, but we will see very shortly.
I can imagine that there'll be that right pressure that you were talking about, Peter, coming from Rose Bay, and as they get further up the harbour, we may see a slight shift back into more northerly direction or nor'east that we would normally see on Sydney Harbour on a sea breeze day. But the breeze is a lot lighter, so some of the yachts might be a bit underpowered and looking for that power out of Rose Bay.
OK, Olivia, I'll put your Olympic hat on. Where are you going to start here?
I'd be probably starting at the boat end. I think the pressure is going to be really important. If you can get an extra knot or two of wind relative to your competitors, you'll be getting a jump and be able to manage the fleet from there.
Well, I'm with you. I'd be up here too, but that probably means we should be down the other end if I'm saying that. But anyway, I think that will be the favoured end, but it's all about pressure, clear air here. But it's a fairly long line, as you'd expect with these 8 big yachts on the starting area. Mark Richards down the leeward end at the moment. Right up at the top end there is there's Wild Oats just tacking. She's the most leeward boat, or left-hand boat as we talk, but all the big boats just going back in towards Double Bay. It's not that much wind here. See URM top boat in the screen right under the centre point tower there. She's very soft in pressure. And a lot of spectator boats out. It's a fantastic day if you've just joined us on Sydney Harbour. We're aboard the Sail Media Camera Cat with our skipper Jimmy Bury, and we're about a minute and a half to go to the start. Exactly 1:30 now, and they're starting to put the pedal down a little. They're starting to have final approach, I think. There's Wild Thing, Grant Warrington. He's had a bit of not a great start to this series. He couldn't start in the Cabbage Tree Island race. They had a problem with their mainsail cars, and then they didn't race yesterday. They were out doing some practicing, but they say they're ready to go today. So great competitor, Warrow, and his mast this year is a bit taller than last year because he's got a new mast with a minute to go. It's Wild Oats' old mast on Wild Thing, so they've got a full hoist mainsail on that now, as you'd expect. So here we go. 45 seconds to start time. URM, the most leeward boat at the moment.
We can see all these yachts jostling for position. SHK Scallywag pushing themselves down the line. They look like they're going to get held up by one of the yachts as, Master Lock Comanche and Moneypenny as they approach. So inside the last 30 seconds, it looks like SHK Scallywag are pretty fast and just need to burn some time.
URM and also Wild Oats 10 at the top, right-hand side.
Scallywag's in all sorts of problems. They've got to go to the weather side of the committee boat. They've been squeezed completely out. SHK Scallywag, she's got to kind of try and get back down across the line. There's no room to go there. Dave Witt in all sorts of trouble. Money Penny has got the money at the committee boat end. Master Lock, Comanche's jumped out. Law Connect slow, but URM down the leeward end and Wild Oats. These mini maxis, they've got a terrific start. SHK Scallywag has managed to get back across the starting of the bows of the other two maxis, but Master Lock Comanche just starting to get rumbling now. And also at the weather end, No Limit has been forced to tack away onto port tack. She got jammed up with the other maxis, so an early tack for No Limit. Law Connect, they've unfurled their biggest. They've dropped their jib, their J1. They're trying to look for some power on Law Connect.
As has Scallywag, SHK Scallywag as well. And Peter, it did seem like we were at the wrong end of the line when we were talking about it before. URM seems to have punched out and been able to hold back Wild Thing as they try to get to leeward of them. Master Lock Comanche just getting their wheels on and rumbling after being held up by Law Connect doing that sail peel.
URM and Wild Oats 10 had good starts. Wild Thing down at that pin end of the line also just behind those smaller boats, and Master Lock Comanche in a good controlling position over Law Connect at the moment.
Yeah, she's right on the gas of Law Connect, Master Lock Comanche. You can see there, left picture there, well boxed in Law Connect, and the two little fellas, URM and Wild Oats 10, very nice start on both those yachts. And then down to leeward is Grant Warrington on the Wild Thing, but up in the middle of the line doing it pretty nicely is Master Lock Comanche.
As they head into Bradley's Head, it looks like Wild Thing may have to call water or room to tack on the URM, but the URM has been holding their own. Master Lock Comanche are being able to now push their bow forward and get their bow forward on URM, whereas SHK Scallywag had to come out of that weak position after the line and do a double tack up. So they're now having to be out of phase with this fleet.
Well, Master Lock Comanche completely controlling this race now. Out in front, she's got Law Connect tucked away behind her, and they're just laying above Bradley's. So the breeze gone back a little bit to the left after the start. Wild Thing and URM, this is the race to Bradley's here. Wild Thing a bit locked in with URM, who are showing terrific speed, great pointing ability. She's been an outstanding boat this year, and must be one of the favourites for the Rolex Sydney Hobart race on Boxing Day. Second 2 years ago, dismasted last year in the race. They've got a lot to prove this year. And at the moment, she's doing a fine job off the start line.
And SHK Scallywag out the back after being squeezed out at the start. So all sorts of bother there for David Witt.
This is going to be a technical approach to Bradley's Head. URM has already just tacked off and has gone behind, or Master Lock Comanche has just pushed in front. URM group crossed in front of Law Connect. And Wild Thing, obviously, we can see on our screen that they're going to be running out of water shortly, so they're going to have to manage this tack well, and they're just taking that on now. You can see Master Lock Comanche has that lovely lead of just a few boat lengths.
Law Connect have got to furl up to tack. There they go, they're furling up now.
And Master Lock Comanche.
Master Lock Comanche going to sit on their gas again. So Master Lock Comanche and Wild Thing are the top two at the moment. And there we are, SHK Scallywag. She got squeezed out at the windward end and had to go back really across all the fleet. So she gave them a big start. So she's got a lot of work to do to get back into this race.
And remember, SHK Scallywag did have to dip their line. They did get squeezed out, so they were already at that disadvantage. So now they're out of favours with the fleet as well, so that tactical advantage is no longer there for them. They're going to have to throw a few different manoeuvres relative to the other 300-foot Super Maxis.
It's like Boxing Day out here, Gordon. Look at that spectator fleet following Master Lock Comanche, and there's a lot more boats off camera out here on this beautiful day. There's the Master Lock, got plenty of crew up on the windward side. That old snowy head fella, there's Campbell Knox, the boat captain, just waving the spectator boats out of the way. long-time crew member on Comanche, or Masterlock Comanche, she's known today, but there's SHK Scallywag way back at the moment. A lot of work to do for Dave Witt and his team. And Grant Warrington in Wild Thing hanging on nicely at the moment. But URM, look at this. She'd be second boat on the water behind Masterlock Comanche. And just behind her on starboard tack is Wild Oats 10 as well. So Wild Oats 10 crossing Law Connect. But there's URM. Terrific start and doing very nicely up the harbour. I think the tide at the moment just starting right at high level, high tide. It's a fairly big tide, so just starting to ebb now. So you're probably working down the middle of the harbour. And the breeze is here. It's back in the nor'east, Olivia, I think, is at about 8 to 9 knots.
It is. As we move further up the race course, there's less headlands and things and hills like Bellevue Hills, so we will see a bit of an opening up of the racetrack, stretching their legs. I'm really impressed with the URM group and how they nailed that start. They're working their way back up the right-hand shore just as we speak as well. They're throwing these strategic decisions out there. We have Jason Waterhouse, Olympic silver medalist, also, calling tactics out there. The team's been working together over the last few events, and we're really seeing the benefit of that.
SHK Scallywag now working up the western shore after that misstep at the start, trying to make up some leeway on the other 100-footers. And just behind them at the moment is No Limit, heading back towards the city.
The No Limit also having to tack out. They ran out of pressure from the right-hand side. They were the most windward boat on the line, so the boat at the boat end of the line.
Okay, well, there's No Limit and Moneypenny. Moneypenny got a pretty good start, but they got a bit squeezed out. The big Maxis came up from underneath them, and they had to tack away early, as did No Limit. But No Limit's made a good comeback here, as they had no speed off the starting line, had to tack away onto port. That's the two boats there, Moneypenny and No Limit, going across on port tack towards Shark Island. But stepping out, there's URM putting a really close cover on Wild Oats 10, not letting them out of their sight. These boats have got almost the same handicap rating, so it's really who's first home out of these two would win the battle for the handicap between these two yachts.
These amazing pictures are coming to you courtesy of Sail Media. We're on the Sail Media camera cat at the moment as we look at the race leader, Masterlock Comanche. James Bury, our skipper here, and the second Sail Media camera cat is skippered by Matt Coleman, former GP Prudential 18-foot skiff sailor with Rob Brown, and a member of the Kookaburra 87 America's Cup defender. So we've got all the expertise out here today and well covered by Sail Media.
Let's Nielsen Park in the background, so she's making good progress up the harbour, hard on the wind to Canai, and then they're going to have a fairly light run or reach back to Shark Island. It's a great shot of Masterlock Comanche. Look at the spectator craft around her, battling to keep up, a lot of them. Wow, that's a sight and a half. Boy, oh boy, that's Boxing Day. Come early.
Great job by Wild Thing 100. Masterlock Comanche controlling the race at the moment, but Grant Warrington will be pleased after all the mishaps that have happened over the last 5 days.
We can see they've also changed that head sail again. They've done very well to keep in touch with Masterlock Comanche and stay ahead of SHK Scallywag, who's further down to leeward of them. You can see the distance now. They're right at the top of that picture is SHK Scallywag with Wild Thing 100 in the middle. Masterlock Comanche front and centre, leading this race of the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge.
Law Connectors dropped 200 metres astern now of Masterlock Comanche.
And Wild Oats 10 and URM continuing that rivalry, and URM took Wild Oats 10 all the way into underneath Steel Point at Nielsen's Park. They weren't going to let them tack away, so really tight cover there for the URM group, maybe redemption from last year's protest.
Yes, well, URM group 6 feet longer, having the advantage, the extra speed, and making it count here today on the harbour.
Law Connect, a long way behind Master Lock Comanche at the moment. With that massive sail on, they've got a furlong every time they tack. Whereas Master Lock Comanche got the conventional J1 on. There they are. GT at the helm, I would think, on the Master Lock Comanche. He's normally their starting helmsman. Ian Murray in his pocket, picking the route up Sydney Harbour, and they're right off the Western Channel pile on the western side of the harbour.
And young navigator in Andy Green, who's a CUICA Youth Sailing Academy alumni, was on the winning team at the Admiral's Cup last year, so is the navigator for Master Lock Comanche this year as well.
And last year, Master Lock Comanche won the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge after another gripping duel with Law Connect. But at the moment, she's certainly showing clear water to Law Connect, who's not really relishing these conditions as much as the race favourite Master Lock Comanche.
Well, we're on Scallywag. She went right into Clifton Gardens, Chowder Bay, looking for a left-hander. Really didn't get it. This breeze gone a little bit, clicked back to the right again, and URM off camera, up off Nielsen Park, in a really good right-hander. Absolutely smoking up the middle of the harbour. But there's Master Lock Comanche. Talking about smoking, she is absolutely flying out the front of the fleet. We'll have a look at URM in a moment. There they are. There's Nielsen Park in a really good right-hand shift as they're approaching up towards Watson's Bay. They've done a masterful job up off the start line and up the harbour on the URM boys.
And as I look further up the course, I think I'm seeing further right pressure as we get towards the heads as well. So that will favour URM Group, and the boats further right or have their bow further forward into the shifts. So it'll be interesting to see how this next section of the race plays out.
Well, that's where we said we should be going, Olivia, and that's where we are going. So we're in good shape at the moment.
So far, we're doing okay.
Yeah. Look for the header, and we'll do it. So cope with that when we can. But here we are. There's the bow of Master Lock Comanche just rigging the reaching sail. Once they get up to Canai Point, there are probably about 6 or 7 minutes, probably a bit longer to Canai. So they've got to get everything prepared on these massive sails, these reaching sails. There's Wild Thing in the background there, coming into Obelisk Bay. Just see the small headsail they've got on the Wild Thing compared to Master Lock Comanche, and certainly compared to Law Connect, just coming into view, top left of screen there.
So the two standout performances in the race so far, Master Lock Comanche, the 100-footer, and URM Group, brought to Australia in 2019 by Anthony Johnson. Heading towards the Canai Point marker.
Yep. There's Wild Thing in Obelisk Bay. He's hoping for a left-hand shift to get back out of there, but at the moment he's bow up, so it's going to be a long way back. There's URM. You can see the height of URM compared to Master Lock Comanche, who's just come into that right-hand pressure, but she's got an absolute ripper of a right-hander here on the URM. She's down about just past the Eastern Channel pile on Watson's Bay, and almost, if that right-hander stays in, pretty close to laying this Canai Point mark, but she's got to navigate through under Inner South Head, Camp Cove, where the breeze will be a bit fickle and a bit lighter. But Master Lock Comanche right off Middle Head.
Steaming along at 13 knots at the moment, Olivia.
Yes, we can see them just opening up their legs a little bit, starting to get a rumble on as we move into a bit clearer water, where Comanche is, as compared to where Law Connect is just set back a little bit, having to navigate through some of the spectator fleet as well. They're very close to where, in line with URM with their bow, so they've really struggled to find more power and really get their boat moving, compared to Master Lock Comanche, who's quite up on their ear and quite heeled now in the correct angle of heel for them.
Well, that's the gap. It's a massive gap already in this race. We've only been going about 15 minutes. Master Lock Comanche will lead clearly at Canai Point.
And there's the 72-footer URM Group. The other stunning performance so far in the race. and matching it with Law Connect.
You can see them almost. You can see them almost pushing forward there, and as we move further and further out into this clearer water, clearer air, we're going to see further right-hand shift. So URM will be pointing even further to the right of our screen, further higher, and be able to accelerate and use that to move their bow forward.
Comanche up to 16, 17 knots at the moment.
Probably be slowing down a bit now, but the thing is, once they get round Canai Point, there's not too many passing lanes left for the bigger boats like Law Connect to challenge the lead. Really, it's just a reach down the harbour, then a long starboard tack back up the harbour. So this is a very clear advantage to Master Lock Comanche now.
You can see their bow is pointed a little bit further down in the Wild Thing 100. They're actually on the ley line to this next mark. They don't have very long, maybe a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes left of sailing. And they're able to crack their sheets a little bit, sail a faster angle, whereas Wild Thing 100 being further down to the left-hand side or the western channel has to claw their way back up a little bit.
So good to see Wild Thing 100 performing splendidly here. They had a lot of bad luck in the Rolex Sydney Hobart last year. Their mainsail was decimated, but they still crawled home to finish third across the line and third on handicap. Terrific performance by Wild Thing 100, representing the Southport Yacht Club in Queensland, Grant Warrington.
Well, what we're finding as they're approaching the weather mark up here at Canai Point, the breeze has gone very light. What we can see is, just as I'm saying that, Master Lock Comanche has come bolt upright. It's very light and going to be very tricky. So maybe there is a passing lane up here as Law Connect and Wild Thing are storming up at the moment. You can see how high they are compared to Master Lock Comanche, who's very soft here. They've got about 150 metres to go to the turning mark here at Canai Point, a starboard rounding, but they're almost becalmed there, bolt upright. Scallywag's not becalmed. Neither has Law Connect. They've got plenty of pressure, but they're going to stub their toe too up here, I would think. But Master Lock Comanche, if we see her in a moment, she is almost tacked with no breeze.
And a big effort here by SHK Scallywag. David Witt is never going to die wondering, and he's thrown everything at the fleet, the other 100-footers, and they've made up a lot of ground.
Yeah, well, Master Lock Comanche is becalmed and got a light little westerly at the moment. This is bizarre. This is really bizarre. Here comes the charging pack, and they're going to, will they stop as well? But look at Master Lock Comanche. I might have to eat my words there. I said that once you get up here, that's not many passing lanes. Well, at the moment, there could be 1 or 2 or 3 passing lanes.
So they've auto-tacked there with that little westerly that you were just talking about, Peter. But you can see the ones behind are just being able to sail around that bubble that Master Lock Comanche's in. The benefits of being second, not first.
Well, who would have thought this? But
well, remember the Derwent, Peter, in 2023.
I remember
Master Lock Comanche and Law Connect.
I remember the Derwent every year, Gordon. It's always like this. It'll throw something at you, but what we're seeing there, Master Lock Comanche almost stopped. Law Connect going really super high, as is Wild Thing. There's Law Connect with that massive headsail up. They're going high, 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 but they've got to get down to the mark. They're well above the mark. Master Lock Comanche just starting to get moving a little bit, but probably doing half a knot, maybe less. Their sails are just flapping around. Here comes Law Connect. Boy, is this going to be...
SHK Scallywag, terrific breeze, another 200 metres behind.
But look at Law Connect. She's doing 10 times the speed of Master Lock Comanche or more, but she will, her way will carry her through here.
Master Lock Comanche has stopped. I think they'll need to drop anchor shortly.
Well, now Wild Thing has stopped, and Law Connect is going to slow down. But they're...
you can see the mark.
There's the mark. Yes, you can, Olivia.
So technically, it's Master Lock Comanche's rights to go around the mark in first. However, they don't have the speed to be able to get around it.
She's now collapsed. She's flying through on this. She's furling the headsail.
This is a classic match racing move, to be honest, where you pull your headsail down and just keep coasting into no wind.
Well, you're the gun at this, Olivia. I'll leave you to describe what you should be doing.
So I can see already on Master Lock Comanche there's some fingers being pointed from the back of the yacht saying, don't go in there. We can see that there's, you know, it is Master Lock Comanche's right to take on that mark and not have anyone go inside there. However, the rule says if they have left room, they're allowed to push in there.
And Olivia, here comes SHK Scallywag.
Well,
now only 75 metres behind Master Lock Comanche.
Well,
this is crazy.
She's going to stop in a minute. Then way up to windward is URM, very much on the track that Law Connect came in, and she'll stop shortly. This is game on here.
The 4 100-footers at the moment are separated by less than 100 metres.
And you can see that Master Lock Comanche are very much not letting Law Connect in there, and they're having to sweep their bow around the stern of Master Lock Comanche.
Chris Nicholson calling the shots for Tony Mutter on Law Connect, and Christian Beck's on board today. And 29 crew, including Ian Thorpe, I believe the great Olympian, is on board. He's going to Hobart in the Rolex Sydney Hobart race. And here we've got URM.
Here comes
URM as well, but now Master Lock just trying to get a little bit of this westerly up here, or nor'wester, but it's a flat spot right at the mark, as you can see. Without stating the obvious, you can see how slowly they're moving around the mark. This is the Canai turning mark, that orange mark just drifting down the side of Master Lock.
Scallywag only with the mainsail at the moment, Peter, and has moved past Wild Thing and is only really 2 boat lengths behind Master Lock Comanche.
Okay, well, Master Lock trying to turn to starboard now to head back towards Shark Island.
And you can just see on the right-hand side of the screen, URM Group coming in to windward, I think, or to the right at least of Wild Thing 100 to try and push in at that Mark 2. And they're going a lot faster than Wild Thing 100, so they're able to push in there. Yeah, the breeze has dropped so much that the fleet is going to concertina here. Completely concertina up. The boat's behind No Limit, and Moneypenny, they're storming in as well. And Wild Oats 10, he's back a little, but he's still making a lot more progress than these boats here at Canai Point.
Well, this is great news for the mini maxis in terms of the overall victory here.
Well, we'll get to Law Connect in a moment. They've got the keel wound over, so they've got some real heel on the boat to try and fill the sail. There's Law Connect. And as you say, Gordon, memories of 2 years ago in the Derwent, when these two boats had this massive battle. Now Master Lock Comanche unfurling. So's SHK Scallywag unfurling. But it's Law Connect trying to get round the outside here. It's a long way round.
They do look like they're the most powered up, I guess, with that keel canted to leeward.
Yeah, he's good at that, Tony Mutter. He did that in the river a few years ago. He's got it working again, trying to fill the sails with a bit of heel.
We've got hand signals coming from both the bows and sterns of all boats coming in here, trying to communicate to each other whether they think the others have room or not, all happening.
URM in a light westerly, then charging up Rob Appleyard and Moneypenny. And there's Moneypenny, the white transom. Wild Oats 10's in there, and then still to come up is No Limit, going faster than any other boat in the fleet at the moment.
Coming to join the party.
And poor old Wild Thing 100 was in second place approaching the mark, and I think it's dropped back to 5th. They're actually not moving at all at the moment.
So Wild Oats mixing it up there with Wild Thing. Wow, great viewing for the spectators and those at home watching on Sail Media coverage. This is the most exciting big boat race we've had in a long, long while, if ever. A restart here at Canai Point.
It really does completely open up the standings for both line honours and overall. Who knows what wind we're going to receive next. Out to sea, there looks like there's easterly breeze. And
yeah, they've got to get to it.
Yeah, inshore there's westerly.
I told you there'd be no passing lanes, Olivia. Well, boy, they're passing lanes and a half. Master Lock Comanche furling up, trying to get onto port tack to get out through the heads to get some breeze. There's breeze about 200 metres ahead of her, but nothing, obviously, where they are now. It's just a drifting match. They've unfurled at the J1 again.
On the other side, thinking that they're on port. It's very hard for all the teams to decide which way they think breeze is going to fill in.
And all 8 starters in this SOLAS Big Boat Challenge, the final race of the Australian Maxi Championship, they're in shot. That wonderful shot from the Sail Media drone.
So we go again.
Around the outside, sorry, Olivia, around the outside is Moneypenny. She's almost at the mark in the Wesley and got more pressure than anyone. So the rich have got poorer and the poorer have got richer.
Has Wild Thing got around the mark yet, Peter?
No, I don't think so.
No, they haven't. They're still...
No, they're still... Poor old Warro.
Just after such a great start and staying in touch with everyone, you know, this hurts to watch them sit there and just be calmed at the top mark, along with everyone else, but it really hurts for them.
There's breeze in the heads, but they've got to get down to it.
Spectators could just reach their hand out and high-five any of these teams if they felt like it.
They sure could. But
David Witt has drawn alongside Master Lock Comanche.
Does that mean they're in the lead?
Almost. Law Connect, facing out towards the heads at the moment.
He's still moving, Law Connect, with a lot of heel on.
Now, what's the time limit for the race, Peter? It's 3 hours, isn't it?
That's a good question, Gordon.
I just thought I'd check with you.
Yes, I'm checking myself here.
As Law Connect furl and attempt to tack. They're the furthest boat to the left, or the northeast, I guess. They've been trying to ask the spectator fleet to move out of the way. You can see all the team members all trying to get as many of the 29 as possible towards the front of the boat and try and reduce that drag.
Time limit is 3 hours, Gordon. But if they get into the breeze, they'll do it in 5 minutes, but they've got to get to the breeze. Law Connect is righto. She's up to windward in a little bit of pressure. Okay.
Having those extra 10 crew members is paying off for them.
Big cheerio to a couple of those crew members. Rob Crawford and Nick Standstill, good mates of Christian Beck's. They're on board today. And they've been enjoying what they're seeing now. Law Connect just starting to get a move up.
And about to hit the lead, I suggest.
Well, don't get too excited, Gordon.
Well, here we are. There's the angle.
Yeah, well, now Master Lock's starting to get a bit of breeze. And Scallywag, perhaps, or they're getting gassed by Master Lock. Okay, game on. Tony Mutter's got the bow down, and Law Connect is away, up to windward, trying to roll over the top of Master Lock Comanche. But Master Lock Comanche just starting to rumble, but the biggest rumbler is the Law Connect. They're just getting this easterly through the heads now. And it's still Wesley back at the mark, about 50 metres behind them. But Tony Mutter at the helm of Law Connect for Christian Beck, trying to get all these spectator craft out of the way.
You can see that Law Connect's being able to just push their bow in front of where Master Lock Comanche's line is. They received that pressure probably 5 seconds or 10 seconds before Master Lock Comanche, and they got that advantage.
And interestingly, Olivia, a red protest flag on the back of Law Connect.
As well as Master Lock Comanche, I think.
Okay, so these two have jumped. The rest are calm back at the mark. But here's the rumble on. The Law Connect, can she get the bow down across the front of Comanche? They're on their way back to Shark Island.
Well, you said this was going to be a rematch of the rivalry between Law Connect and Master Lock Comanche, and it's unfolding before our eyes. These two big guns, the 100-footers, two of the best 100-footer ocean racers in the world, are neck and neck at the moment on this second leg.
Off camera, SHK Scallywag just getting rumbling. The rest of the fleet, but calm back at Canai. But all eyes on their Scallywag. Just starting to pick up this easterly breeze between the heads. Dave Witt at the helm.
A very proud winner of the Rolex Middle Sea race in 2024, SHK Scallywag.
Now look at this race on now. Masterlock Comanche drifting down to leeward a little bit. Tony Mutter's got Law Connect pointing pretty high up through the heads here. They're starting to rumble along. We've got a speed of about, they're doing about 12 knots or small, or maybe a bit more. And it's Law Connect at the moment, doing a nice job.
Well, this is wonderful live television, isn't it?
Oh,
real drama.
There's plenty of action, and we can now see, you know, around the back of Law Connect in that shot there, that Law Connect has been able to increase the distance sideways away from Masterlock Comanche, and it's a great thing in this open water. However, we're going to move into the headlands again of Watson's Bay, Vaucluse and the like, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that distance changes and their bows go forward and backwards in the pressures.
Well, Masterlock Comanche taking a much lower course. I don't know whether they can get the bow up, but certainly Law Connect can get the bow up. And they're heading, they probably wouldn't, oh, they might be laying Shark Island.
You'd think that that would benefit Law Connect in terms of sailing less distance, but the Masterlock Comanche team might be either trying to create as much power when it goes lighter the further down we get. However, we didn't see that at the start. It was quite windy in that middle section.
URM group following Scallywag.
Yeah, they've all got a wriggle on except one boat now, and there's a huge gap now back to Scallywag from these two. And speed, we're doing about
14 knots,
14
Peter.
knots, yep. Just slowing down a little bit.
So as they went round the Cano Point mark, it was Masterlock Comanche, Law Connect seconds, SHK Scallywag, URM Group, then Wild Oats, and Wild Thing in 6th position after being second approaching that mark.
Well, there's what
totally stalled.
Sorry, Gordon, Moneypenny's caught right up to Wild Oats 10, and they've got the breeze, good breeze through the heads, the easterly in now. Back on Comanche.
At this stage of the race last year in the Solas, Peter, it was Masterlock Comanche leading Law Connect, and you remember they had to do that short starboard tack, maybe to avoid the Sound Pigs, but that enabled them to keep control of the race. But at the moment, you'd say Law Connect is in the box position.
Yeah, Masterlock Comanche's got the bow down and moving a bit quicker than Law Connect, who's staying high up on the eastern side of the harbour as they're approaching Sound Pigs. For those that know that famous rocky outcrop, Law Connect will go to leave the pigs to starboard, while Masterlock Comanche, way down to leeward, will leave the pigs to port. Just wonder what the tactics are here. I think it's going to get lighter in the left-hand side of the course, and that's what probably Ian Murray and the team aboard Masterlock Comanche trying to stay more in the middle of the harbour to get a bit more pressure and then get their headsail back up and come up to Shark Island. Law Connect slowing down a little bit. She's right off Sound Pigs now, between Sound Pigs and Camp Cove.
And Pete, sorry, Olivia.
Oh, and I was just about to say, SHK Scallywag in the back part of the left picture there seemed to be charging. They were just in the position of water where Law Connect was, so they'll be trying to catch up, but then I'm sure they'll do that slow down as well.
And you talk about the tacticians. You've got Chris Nicholson aboard Law Connect, a champion 18-foot skiff sailor, tactician aboard Masterlock Comanche, Ian Murray, one of the greatest of all time. So the 18-footer influence having a huge impact on ocean racing in this part of the world.
There's been a big split here, Olivia, haven't they, between Masterlock and Law Connect? Masterlock's way down to leeward.
Yeah, we are seeing a bunch of splits across the fleet as well. It seems like URM Group gets to be an honorary 100-footer for this leg of the race. They've caught up and in a piece of water of their own in 4th position over the line. But the Moneypenny and Wild Oats 10 seem to be battling it out. Moneypenny staying a little bit higher, like what we saw Law Connect do with those 100-footers, and Wild Oats 10 just a little bit further down.
Well, that's Law Connect there, just off the eastern channel pile of Watson's Bay. In the background, the beautiful Camp Cove beach, and behind her, SHK Scallywag in third place at the moment, way down to leeward off camera, Master Lock Comanche. So let's just see what the game Ian Murray's playing down to leeward. Can he get the bow up and come back at Law Connect? We'll see them in a moment. There they are. They're off the Western Channel pile.
If we're talking about straight line towards Shark Island, and that's where our next turning mark is, it looks like Law Connect would be in the winning or in the leading position because they've less distance to sail. Again, Master Lock Comanche will have a faster angle up to that mark, but I don't think they'll be able to get through Law Connect's dirty air in this light pressure.
Well, I think
advantage Law Connect.
I think that's what they're doing, actually, that Master Lock Comanche in the middle of harbour's got more pressure now, and Law Connect has got to navigate through Nielsen Park. Looks very light there. So Master Lock Comanche will stay low and then slowly heat up, try and get round the bow of Law Connect. But at the moment it's almost bow to bow, and Law Connect in dying pressure. Master Lock Comanche in more pressure down to leeward.
And it's going to be about the timing of when they choose to do this manoeuvre to come up through Law Connect's line. So if they do it too early, they're going to get stuck and not be able to accelerate through that dirty air that Law Connect will be spinning off to leeward. And if they do it too late, it'll be Law Connect will be in front of them already.
It's like a washing machine out here with all these spectator boats. How's your seasickness going, Gordon? Are you all right?
Yeah, very well. I took my space age pills last night,
good,
Peter.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
but
good.
Money Penny certainly doing exceptionally well here for the Western Australians from the Royal Freshwater Bay Yacht Club. Rob Appleyard having that great duel with Wild Oats 10, skippered by Mark Richards, who'll be skippering Palm Beach 11, the 100-footer, to be launched tomorrow in the Rolex Sydney Hobart from Boxing Day.
Okay, well, that looks an advantage Law Connect at the moment from that angle. And they're starting to rumble here, Law Connect, through Nielsen Park. A lot of spectator boats right in the way. If you tried to get in the way, you couldn't do a better job.
The distance between our two race leaders is shortening, definitely, with Master Lock Comanche being able to sail a faster angle to the wind towards each other.
We're just about to see another obstacle come into play. We'll see that in a minute. There's a big ferry going down the side of Law Connect, but come back to that in a moment as we're on Master Lock Comanche. Just there they go. There's the ferry, and that's the split between the two. Master Lock slowly getting the bow up, but the breeze is freshening around Steel Point at the moment, a bit more east-northeast, so I think this will favour Master Lock Comanche.
I think it will favour Master Lock Comanche. You can see Law Connect is having more eased sails, and that means they've got less power. They can't just turn the boat to create the power because there's Steel Point and Nielsen Park there, so really tricky navigating as they get through towards Shark Island.
There's some amazingly, hopelessly skippered spectator boats out here, right in the way of Law Connect. There's a spectator boat right on the course of Law Connect, but it's Master Lock Comanche, got good breeze around Steel Point, down to leeward. There's Law Connect, going to get soft for them up to Steel Point. We see this in 18-foot racing, you get too high here, you'll get dropped off, and that's what's happened to Law Connect. Master Lock Comanche well to leeward, now starting to get the bow up in better pressure.
SHK Scallywag, about 150 metres astern.
They've caught up a lot. They didn't seem to have slowed down as much as Law Connect did. It is timing and a bit of luck sometimes when the wind disappears for you and not for anyone else.
Well, that boat's appropriately named Mischief, right in the path of Law Connect. So we're on URM, powering down.
Fourth in line honours at the moment.
Terrific performance.
And certainly with a mortgage on the Australian Maxi Championship. In fact, they've really only got to finish this race to clinch the Australian Maxi Championship. And also in very good shape for the overall prize in the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge.
Okay, massive advantage now, Gordon, to Master Lock Comanche. She stayed in the pressure. Very cool tactics by Ian Murray and the team aboard Master Lock Comanche. They stayed low, kept in the pressure, got the bow up around the front of Law Connect. They will lead at Shark Island.
You called it well, Peter. You saw it coming, and URM Group in fourth
I had
place
to
at
make
the
amends
moment.
for the Canai point mark that I stuffed up. That was unbelievable. Now Law Connect going really high under Steel Point. They're going to have to... There's Law Connect now, very soft pressure, but out in the front now, streaking away again, is Master Lock Comanche.
Well, it's been an unpredictable race so far, and more surprises still to come, I'm sure. But Law Connect really struggling closer inshore.
And there's URM charging up from behind. Fourth on the water, as you said, Olivia. That's a fantastic effort. But there's the spectator craft gathering at Shark Island. They'll jibe there, go around. They've got to go round the island completely, then back up to Canai. So the lead that Master Lock Comanche had coming into Canai has really been the same lead that she's been able to gather now to round Shark Island. So nothing much has really changed. They're the three leaders. SHK Scallywag high on Steel Point as well. She's soft. Now Law Connect's just got to drop in behind Master Lock Comanche. Master Lock Comanche's got about 80 metres to go before they jibe. They'll run round the back of Shark Island. It'll be light there. And they'll probably go back to conventional jibs to go back up to Canai.
Well, I'll be hoping for a bit more breeze at Canai, second time round.
Well, it added to the excitement.
Yeah. It certainly gives David Whip in SHK Scallywag an opportunity, who's in third place at the moment, third round the mark. He was back in seventh position.
Standing by on Master Lock for a jibe. They'll run past the mark a little. That's the mark, the orange mark. There. It's got everything. Make sure the sheets are around the forestay. They'll furl a little bit. Then jibe over. Just standing by now.
This spectator fleet's getting very close and personal with Master Lock Comanche.
Furls on. The canty, the keel would be on. Furl almost completely. Mainsail through. And they'll unfurl now. Good job. Top crew on this boat. And so the lead now is about 150 metres to Law Connect. Foredeck crew working on the headsail to make sure it's ready to go up where they get round the behind Shark Island. Law Connect off screen. There they go. They're about to jibe as well, but that's we're on Master Lock Comanche there. Okay, Law Connect jibing through.
Margin 45 seconds in favour of Master Lock Comanche, and Scallywag's only probably 20 seconds, 25 seconds behind Law Connect.
The pressures are creating a bit of elastic bands between the fleet that we've got going on here, because it really is a bit of luck and timing as to when those pressures hit you and what you can do with them. If you are allowed to sail, the course allows you to sail a faster angle, or if you have to try and manoeuvre something and not use the pressure as much as possible. Scallywag setting up for their next jibe. It is just 20 seconds.
Yeah, the breeze quite light here at the jibe mark. Little puffs coming over the top of Nielsen Park, but rumbling down under Spinnaker is URM. Boy, they've put a performance and a half today. And as I said earlier, good hit out for the Rolex Sydney Hobart race. They'll be very much on the favourite list for corrected time honours.
So with URM having a flying spinnaker, they're going to have a bit of a different approach to getting around this mark, having to probably do a bit more sail changing before to try and get through the island's wind shadow. They're not far off a jibe. You can probably see the crew starting to stand up, and in the background, it's Wild Thing 100 coming through with some pressure. But it will be URM groups that will round Shark Island in fourth place after the first lap of the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge.
Anthony Johnson and his four brothers, Andrew, David, who's the CEO of the URM group, Nigel and Nick. Nick doing his first Hobart race last year, and URM group going round right now.
All five brothers will be on board for the Rolex Sydney Hobart as well, so they're really looking for a full family affair.
Wild Thing 100 just astern of URM group, a 100-footer trailing a 72-footer by 50 metres.
So you can see URM group dropping their sail and putting a reaching sail up to match what the 100-foot Super Maxis have.
They did a nice job with that too. Windward drop and then the new reaching sail up as they get round the lee of the Shark Island. But meanwhile, the two leaders are on the breeze again up towards Canai. There's Wild Thing about to jibe. But URM in front of them by about 50 metres. And then the trailing pack of, here we go, of, who we got here?
Wild Oats 10.
Wild Oats 10, followed by
Money Penny.
Money Penny, and then No Limit.
Very tight racing when it comes to not just the Super Maxis, but the entire fleet mixing it up together, with No Limit coming in with lots of pressure. Lots of pressure. You can see that they're just trying to settle everything down before they know they have to jibe within the next minute or so.
Okay, Wild Oats at the jibe mark. Outside jibe. The sheets led around the front of the sail. They're through. And then they're through, trimmed in. Well done. And then next will be the Money Penny boys. Going to do the same manoeuvre.
So the order going round the Shark Island mark, it was Master Lock Comanche by 45 seconds from Law Connect, SHK Scallywag, a further 20 seconds astern in third. Then the URM group, followed by Wild Thing 100, Money Penny, about to go round.
They had a few issues dropping that spinnaker. They had to, I think they started the jibe a little bit too early for the spinnaker actually coming down. So they had to correct that and come back up onto their port tack, and then they finally completed that jibe at the end.
Led the three leaders, Master Lock Comanche, Law Connect, right up his exhaust pipe, and then SHK Scallywag. Three of the big four. On their way back to Canai, not laying the course at this stage.
And the traditional course is twice up to Canai, twice around the Shark Island marker, and the finish just east of the Opera House.
There's
No Limit is eighth around.
Tail end Charlie, but he's got the best handicap of the fleet. So all is not lost. Okay, jib is up, the spinnaker ready to be fired, and they'll be back on the wind around the back of Shark Island. And the breeze has spiked up here now, probably got 12 knots or so.
And this leg to the next mark is going to be a quite different one to what we saw at the start, where everyone was tacking up and jostling for position and clean air, where now it's a bit of a drag race. Now the pressure's up, everyone's got the most amount of power, big sails up, trying to continue all the way and point as high as they can.
Olivia Price providing the expertise here, the dual Olympian, skipper and silver medalist, along with Peter Shipway, the voice of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. What a splendid day it is here on Sydney Harbour, and what exciting racing we've seen so far, with Master Lock Comanche ahead of Law Connect and SHK Scallywag. Don't write them off, particularly if things become a bit light and tight around the Canai Point mark second time round.
Masterlock Comanche looking quite powered up there. Sails sheeted on, sailing in an upwind angle. They will have to do some tacks before they get towards the heads in South Head, unless the breeze shifts again. But we've seen it shift many times today already. Don't count anything out.
It's one of the joys, Olivia, of Sydney Harbour. You've done all your sailing here, but it's unpredictable, isn't it?
It is unpredictable, especially on a day like this. If you're not aware of what all the synoptic weather's doing, you may think that this might just turn into a sea breeze, but it's really hot here in Sydney Harbour today, and we just don't have those thermal effects happening. So it's a gradient wind that's becoming just a little bit affected by the dense bushfire smoke and haze that we've got going on here as well.
Masterlock off George's Head, Western Channel Pile, holding pretty high. She's been pretty close to middle head. She's now back on a conventional jib and lifting nicely above middle head at the moment.
14 knots, Peter.
Yeah, Law Connect trying to get some height on her hip, but it's a fair distance now that Masterlock Comanche is in the lead.
And the breeze has shifted a little bit further right in the last minute or so. The boat's in behind, so Law Connect and SHK Scallywag able to just sail a little bit higher in angle than what Masterlock Comanche was back, 2 minutes ago or so. So that means the breeze is trending a little bit right, meaning that there may not be tacks as we head our way up towards Canai Point for the second time.
We've got about 11, 12 knots of breeze, a bit more than, as you say, last time, and wonder what Canai Point holds for us.
We can't wait.
No, well, last time it was had a bit of everything as we're watching Wild Oats tacking back onto starboard. They had to probably clear their air, get out on port, looking for that right-hand shift that was certainly there last time. They're still a bit bowed down. The leader's way in the background, up off middle head.
Dan Oatley is on the Traveller on Wild Oats 10. He actually steered the boat over the line in Hobart. I think it was 2018, Peter, for the Oatley family. So the grandson of the late Robert Oatley, Wild Oats 10, skippered by Mark Richards.
Oh, they're not on a header. They're on a header there. Bow down, looking for that right-hander. It's not there at the moment. You can see the boats ahead of them, how high they are. There's 3 of them. Masterlock Comanche. Law Connect just worked out on his hip, but he's still a fair way back. Now Masterlock Comanche sheeted right home and really high in the groove. Looking pretty smart.
You're watching the 2025 SOLAS Big Boat Challenge. The SOLAS Trust has been in existence now for 26 years and is a trust that raises awareness and funds for the CYCA Safety of Life at Sea. They've raised over $3 million, and all 8 competitors, they had an auction, and a berth has been given to one guest on every boat, and more than $11,000 has been raised with that gesture for the SOLAS Trust. It's also the final race of the Australian Maxi Championship. This boat won the Cabbage Tree Island race on line honours and handicap, Masterlock Comanche, but thereafter in the passage races it was all the 72-footer URM group, absolutely dominant and taking a stranglehold on the Australian Maxi Championship.
And you can see Masterlock Comanche is just about to make their way into the open waters in between the heads, where we found the most pressure last time we were up here. However, when we made our way to Canai Point, this might be the skeptic in me, I feel like it could be a little bit light up here again.
It's certainly lightening off, isn't it? Law Connect trailing by 250, 300 metres at the moment, probably about a minute, as Masterlock Comanche leads the charge, and in 3rd position SHK Scallywag.
can see the sails are sheeted in as much as possible. All the crew up on the side, legs over, trying to use as much power as possible.
Hoisting their sail on the bow. It's already up.
Yeah, the trim looks great there. They are sheeted home nice and firmly and really lifted away in distance from Law Connect, who's a little bit higher at the moment. They're about 4 or 5 minutes from the Canai turning mark, and looking ahead, I'd see there's breeze up here, but we said that last time and we stubbed our toe, and I think at the moment they're going to get around in reasonable shape up here. But Law Connect really high behind Master Lock Comanche. Scallywag, the third boat in line.
They've held in quite well to stay in touch with Law Connect, having a smaller jib sail up relative to Law Connect, so I think they've done a great job just to stay in touch.
And there's definitely more breeze than last time here at the Canai Point marker.
Yeah, Comanche's gone soft again as they did last time. And unfurled the big reacher, and Law Connect storming up behind them. But there is breeze at Canai, that's what we can tell you. I think they're not going to have the misadventure they had last time up here with the breeze collapsing. At the moment there's plenty of breeze, but oh dear.
There's some breeze, but
I've got to stop talking. There is a bit of a void here, but you can see Master Lock Comanche, but there looks breeze on the water. It just started to get moving again.
But suddenly the speed of Master Lock Comanche is diminishing.
Again. Well, maybe it is. There are some light spots up here again. There's breeze to windward of the mark, but not actually at the mark. So that's what Master Lock Comanche has hit. You can see the direction when we come back to them. There's Muddy Penny, and ahead of them is
Wild Thing 100.
Wild Thing 100. Now, has Law Connect got another chance to pounce here?
Master Lock Comanche has definitely slowed down.
Yeah, but she's got breeze. She's still got breeze.
She's moving though, yeah. Yep. She's probably doing about 7 or 8 knots.
Being headed big time on starboard. She's coming up not far off at that angle of a ley line, probably another 60 or 70 metres to go. She's got to get around this mark and out of here because it's quite up under Inner North Head, for those that know the harbour, and there's a fair bit of light fluky stuff here, but there's still breeze on the water. You can see she's still moving. There's the mark. She'll furl and then tack. She's not far off a lay here.
They will tack and clear cross ahead of Law Connect. However, Law Connect is coming in with a bit of speed and pressure just to the left of our screen. You'll see them pop straight through.
Just stopped a little, I think. Yeah, she is. She's upright now. But Master Lock Comanche very close to attack here. But there's Law Connect, bow down now. That's what Master Lock Comanche hit. Soft pressure and heading. And off camera. Oh, there she is. Master Lock Comanche just tacked. Plenty of wriggle room on that ley line. They'll unfurl and get out of here because that was their demise last time. They had a very good lead and the breeze just collapsed. But now Law Connect is soft and so will be Scallywag in a moment. Okay, Master Lock Comanche still moving. Yeah, there's good pressure here now. She'll put the bow down and head for Shark Island for the final time. Yeah, plenty of breeze coming towards her, coming out of Manly now. And she is away with a very, very nice lead.
And the support boat for Master Lock Comanche providing raucous applause and encouragement.
These two close enough to each other to eye each other off on this approach down towards Shark Island again.
Both boats still got protest flags flying, Olivia. That's interesting. We might have heard the end of all of this yet. Law Connect about to tack. There they go. Furl on. And they'll unfurl the other sail now, the big reacher. See the power of those winches and the speed of those winches to get those sails unfurled. And Tony Mutter puts the bow down and trying to chase Master Lock Comanche, who are ahead. Guess what? They've run out of breeze a little.
They have slowed down a touch.
Now, the margin there, 55 seconds astern for Law Connect. They trailed at the Shark Island marker by 45 seconds, so only lost 10 seconds on that second or third leg up to Canine Point.
There's URM coming up on starboard, laying that mark. And again, a stellar performance from these boys upwind the second time. There's Law Connect. She's got a little bit of breeze, but Master Lock Comanche is bow down and trying to look for a bit of pressure. Here comes Scallywag. He'll be third to the Canine mark. Not that far out of it. But really different breezes in the heads when we get back to them. Okay, Dave Witt gets Scallywag around in third spot. Only about a minute adrift of Law Connect. Okay, they're the three now. You can see Master Lock Comanche bow down in pressure. Law Connect going up for the pressure in the heads.
And just 10 seconds ago, it was the opposite. They were facing the completely opposite. The angles were reversed.
So another roll of the dice for Law Connect and Master Lock Comanche.
And URM making their way still on that upwind. And for those wondering where Wild Thing 100 is, they're probably bow even, so on the same ladder rung as URM Group, but further down to leeward and down to the left. So looks like URM Group will still sit in fourth place online overall at the moment.
Well, Wild Thing's run out of breeze in the middle of the heads, bolt upright. See them in a moment. There they are. They look as though they've got a bit of speed, but looking at them, they're pretty upright. But meanwhile, the two leaders, there's the second boats, Law Connect, trying to throw the challenge down to Master Lock Comanche. The distance about 150 metres. There's URM still going upwind and Scallywag coming downwind.
So Law Connect chasing Master Lock Comanche now on the same course.
And that looks like Wild Oats 10, just to leeward of Master Lock Comanche, who would be pretty equal with Wild Thing 100 online at the moment, with Wild Oats 10 being more in the middle of the channel, which was where we think there's been most pressure, where URM went relative to where Wild Thing is. You can see that they're, looking a little bit soft in pressure and not as loaded as they probably would have liked to have been, making their way to the top market. The breeze is definitely lightening off towards that Canine Point mark again, but it's Master Lock Comanche who is able to get their sails up and get that bow forward into the pressure and start pushing their way towards Shark Island for the final turning mark.
Well, they're taking the low road again as they did the first time down, and now Law Connect's more on their similar course. I think the only thing that Chris Nicholson and Tony Mutter can do is stay high and hope that they can get a breeze down the side of Nielsen Park, because Master Lock Comanche really bow down on the Western Channel. Law Connect bow up, going down the Eastern Channel.
And this, Peter, is the exact replica of last year on this leg, the second last leg, with Master Lock Comanche leading by a similar distance at this time 12 months ago over Law Connect. And Law Connect made up some ground too in last year's race.
I can't remember what I did yesterday. I don't know how you can remember what happened 12 months ago, but I'll believe you.
I dreamt it last night. I made a mental note, Peter, which your wife keeps telling you to do.
Well, it's a very similar pattern. This time, Law Connect charging up the eastern side. Master Lock Comanche, bow down and soft. There's Inner South Head, Lady Jane Beach, a beach you know well, Gordon. Near the
Yes.
charging.
And why would I know Lady Jane Beach well, Peter?
Oh, well, we'll go into that a bit later, but meanwhile, boy, there's a game on here. Law Connect absolutely rocketing down, probably doing about 4 or 5 knots quicker than Master Lock Comanche. You can see him up to windward. They're leaving the pigs to starboard. Master Lock, pigs to port. Game on.
Well, it was a losing reach first time round for Law Connect, but
Well, he's
they're
got to roll the
certainly in a
dice.
lot of pressure.
I think Nico's had to roll the dice. It was the only way he could do anything to get back in touch with Master Lock. He couldn't follow him. That's the distance to windward that Law Connect is. Master Lock Comanche very deep here.
Ian Murray calling the shots. Co-skippers James Mayo and Matt Allen. Matt Allen, a 4-time winner
Graham
overall of the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
GT at the helm, Graham Taylor. World Actual Champion, outstanding yachtsman in his own right. But Law Connect is really flying. We're on now. That's Master Lock Comanche, very soft.
Law Connect seems to be in the puff of the day, maximum pressure that we've seen, and they really don't look like they're going to be slowing down anytime soon.
No, they're absolutely flying past Sound Pigs. See the white water coming off the boat now. They've got to negotiate Nielsen Park. That's going to be the trick for Chris Nicholson and Tony Mutter and Christian Beck. And Ian Thorpe, maybe he's calling the shots.
Well,
Swim, you can swim faster. But now Master Lock Comanche starting to pick up a bit of speed on the Western Channel. Law Connect, a little bit slowed down. There's the Eastern Channel pile, Watson's Bay.
so you're going to call it an advantage at the moment, Peter?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Are
Gordon.
you calling an advantage either way?
No,
You're sitting on
still
the fence.
can't hear you. No, I would think Master Lock Comanche, I think at the moment, she's just starting to get the bow out and good pressure. It's all about Nielsen Park and Steel Point. Law Connect going a bit soft. Yeah, Master Lock Comanche at the moment. There's Wild Oats back at the Canai mark, just unfurling. URM has already gone round with a nice lead on Wild Oats 10.
And Wild Thing 100 was also in between there as well. So it was URM Group, Wild Thing 100, and then Wild Oats 10 with, it looks like Money Penny, then No Limit in behind.
Okay, well, advantage back to Master Lock Comanche down the western side. She's got better pressure. Law Connect's had to put the bow down to try and stay as clear of Nielsen Park as she can. But meanwhile, Master Lock Comanche trying to get the bow up now slowly and get round the bow of Law Connect as she did last time. And it looks as though it's working once more because it's very light again under Nielsen Park. You can see Master Lock down to leeward, starting to come up. Spectator boats everywhere. Quite amazing and wonderful, really, for the sport, if they, long as they keep out of the way. Yeah, Master Lock really gathering pressure down to leeward.
Starting to play out as it did first time round on this downwind leg. Master Lock Comanche now still holding a slight advantage over Law Connect. But Nielsen Park a little softer here. Master Lock Comanche doing about 18 knots.
SHK Scallywag in third, taken again the high route, similar to what they did last time, following Law Connect up towards the Eastern Channel side of it. You can see they haven't lost too much. They've stayed in touch with both Law Connect and Master Lock Comanche, but it looks like Law Connect has dropped back on the Master Lock Comanche as they're making their way around the bow as we get towards Steel Point. We're almost at the time where Master Lock Comanche passed them last time, and you can see that they've just jumped out ahead, being able to sail a faster line towards the next turning mark.
David Witt would be pleased with his performance today after a bad start.
Yes, exactly. You know, missing that start at the very beginning, having to do a dip of the line means that you're never going to have that strategic advantage off the line relative to your competitors. So to be able to, you know, stay in touch and be able to throw it down to the other 100-foot super maxis as well. You know, this is a day that he absolutely loves racing out on Sydney Harbour, and it's great to have SHK Scallywag back in the mix.
Great shot of Master Lock Comanche. They're charging into the lead or consolidating the lead. It'll be about the same distance they had at Canai. Took the low road and it's paid off once again. It's getting the next sail ready for the reach to the finish at the Opera House. That's the view that Law Connect is seeing of Master Lock coming round their bow. They've taken the high road. A little bit more breeze up here now than it was last time, but still not enough to gain an advantage on Master Lock Comanche. There's the three of them lined up.
Wild Thing 100 was fifth around the Canai Point mark the second time around, just behind URM Group, the 72-footer, and behind her was Wild Oats 10. So they're back in fifth position at the moment, Wild Thing 100, as Master Lock Comanche leads the charge to the Shark Island marker ahead of Law Connect, and that's Scallywag, SHK Scallywag David Witt in third place. The three 100-footers converging on this final mark rounding.
Now the next run will be a fairly square run back to the Opera House. I think it won't be as tight an angle as we're seeing here, so it may even be a VMG run perhaps. I'm not sure. It's quite light looking back towards the Opera House, which is clouded in smoke, but there'll be certainly at the jibe mark enough pressure. What do you think, Olivia? It'll be a bit wider this angle, I think, the next one, won't it?
It will be. You know, it's going to open up a bit of opportunity to, again, stretch those elastic bands, but then also it might come back a little bit closer between the fleet as well. In terms of passing lanes, I don't think that there will be any, but it will be interesting just to see how much they can catch up in the VMG angle. Well,
you can see that they're going to set a different foresail here on Master Lock Comanche. They'll furl the existing sail up, and they'll unfurl a new sail. You can see it already up the forestay. So they're just approaching the mark. There's the orange mark. They'll extend a little, I would think. They'll furl and then unfurl the new sail. And Gordon, you've got your time running, have you?
I have, Peter, yes. We've been racing for 72 minutes.
Right. But the distance, the delta here, what's the delta going to be between these two?
Well, I can't predict the future, Peter. I can create it, though.
OK, well, Law Connect coming down, not much pressure. Off camera, Master Lock Comanche just jibing. They've extended fairly well past the mark, which you'd expect would be now a VMG run. They're unfurled the new sail, but Law Connect, all eyes on her. Christian Beck.
As you predicted, Peter, the margin pretty similar to the Canai Point.
And
it's coming up to 50
seconds.
Got
a bit of a problem on Master Lock Comanche.
Yeah, they struggled to get that sail furled in as much as they needed to complete the jibe. I could see the bowman struggling to get it all untangled.
They've got it round now. OK, Law Connect charging down. A little bit of a gain there to Law Connect.
Margin was 55 seconds, but that's closed after that problem
they've
with the
jibed
furl.
early, Law Connect. Again, that's all they can do, I think.
They're going to make it interesting.
Yeah, I think Master Lock Comanche looks pretty much in control, but who knows? We've been wrong once or twice today. Only once or twice.
Again, Law Connect, you know, we'll be trying to just sail the fastest angle that they can to get their bow in a position so that if it does shift, they can then attack Master Lock Comanche from the windward side. But it looks like Master Lock Comanche seem to be settling in and being able to manage that. Law Connect having to sail up under Shark Island. So there'll be a bit of a wind shadow for them.
Yeah,
but it may open up in the main channel.
Yeah, you won't want to go too high up there. Nico would know that. You'll get a real lead. They've got to you'll be sailing to Tony Mutter. Get the bow down when you can. It's the only way they can attack. But what's the breeze look like ahead? It looks a bit lighter, doesn't it? Anyway, full wick on Law Connect at the moment, and Scallywag coming down to the jibe mark in a clear third place on the water.
Well, it certainly ignites the rivalry between these two 100-footers, Law Connect and Master Lock Comanche. Here they are again, going hammer and tong towards the finishing line, and probably only 30 seconds separating them, and just this last run to the finish of the Opera House.
Well, you can see what Law Connect's trying to do. They're going to go up, and then try and force Master Lock Comanche to sort of cover from in front. But Master Lock Comanche bowed down and probably laying down to the finishing line. Law Connect way up, about 30 degrees higher than Master Lock Comanche, just getting out of the lee of Shark Island. But Master Lock Comanche storming towards the finish. The breeze up here at about 12 knots, now back in the nor'east. So it's a clear run home.
Looks a bit lighter out there for Law Connect as well.
Yeah, they're just still in the lee of Shark Island. Now they're just getting the bow down to parallel Master Lock Comanche, who's almost on a straight line to the finish, charging speed of 20 plus knots here, I would think, as she's starting to wick up. The breeze is starting to lift here. We've got 12, 14, 15 knots, and look at Master Lock Comanche absolutely charging to the finishing line, probably laying down now to the line.
SHK Scallywag a minute and a half behind Law Connect, rounding that Shark
Wonderful
Island
shot
marker.
here. Look at this, right in the cockpit with them, laying the finishing line. They're going to get round the point of Garden Island. They put the bow down about 10 degrees to the finishing line, and Law Connect lost out there. They had to throw the dice. They went high. It didn't work out for them.
You can see how powered up Master Lock Comanche is in maximum pressure of the day. But as they get a little bit further towards and in behind Bradley's head, Peter, do we think there's going to be enough pressure there?
Okay, we're right with the race leader. Is Ian Murray in the white hat there, standing at the back? They are laying down to the finish for this monster sail up. They are absolutely flying.
Well, it's been another masterclass by Master Lock Comanche, repeating her SOLAS Big Boat line honours victory of 2024. Only maybe 1.5 kilometres to the finish now for Master Lock Comanche.
Yeah, no problem. She'll lay down, and Law Connect well back now. The spectator craft swarming around her like bees to a honey pot. They're seeing something really special here with these maxis.
Master Lock Comanche had to win this multiple times. You know, it wasn't just a simple start, go around the canal point and use your own power and speed. You know, obviously we had that shutdown, we've had the elastic bands pulling and pushing against all the fleet together, but it really has been, this last lap, been cementing their, I guess, bragging rights as they go into the final race, the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Yes, tactically, they've handled it superbly, and they've also kept it calm and composed when situations got potentially nasty.
And speaking of situations, reminder, we do have protest flags on both Master Lock Comanche and Law Connect, so I can imagine there's going to be some discussions, whether they be in the protest room or back at the CYCA informally. There'll be some stuff that they'll be wanting to get clear before they move into the final race of the season.
Well, the Master, the race last year was decided on a protest when URM Group was protested successfully by Wild Oats 10, which became the Australian Maxi Champion. So it goes to the committee room now, judicial room, to decide the outcome.
You can imagine that Master Lock Comanche won't really want to continue with that protest. However, Law Connect definitely will. So, you know, stay tuned for that on all of the CYCA social media pages for the updates.
So they will have a jibe. There's Fort Denison, the famous Fort Denison, and the iconic Sydney Harbour Bridge. They're not laying down to the finishing line. They'll go up here and jibe and come in one, I would think. There they go now. Jibing off Garden Island. Maybe 2 more jibes, I think. Law Connect fairway in the distance now. Okay, there's Law Connect still on starboard. They've got a jibe. Yes, Master Lock Comanche will have 1 more jibe to come in to the finish line, right off Lady Macquarie's chair. Garden Island just to the east. Beautiful day here on the harbour if you're not in Sydney, or just been a glorious race and a glorious day. And Master Lock Comanche set to get line honours. They're about 100 metres from the line. 1 more jibe and in.
Well, it certainly has been an exhilarating ride for Master Lock Comanche, and Law Connect has fought hard all the way to keep them honest. As Christian Beck says, we're the underdog. Yeah. They're the best in the world. But Law Connect has a habit of turning the tables in these situations once they get to the ocean.
Okay, that's the final unfurl. There are about 50 metres to go to the line. Light air up here, a lot of disturbed wind, a lot of spectator craft. We're a fair way from the heads, so the breeze is only light here, probably about 8 or 9 knots. And they've got about a boat length and a half to go. Okay, they're right now almost there. There. Well done. Congratulations to Master Lock Comanche. Outstanding effort by this crew. They were threatened a couple of times. They held their nerve and they got the job done very clearly now over Law Connect, who's got 1 more jibe to come in. Very similar track to what Master Lock Comanche had to do. And in the background, the Scallywag still on starboard jibe above the finishing line also. So we'll get some times. I've got the clock running, Gordon.
And so is Olivia.
Well, we couldn't rely on you, so...
we needed a backup.
That's why Olivia's sailing royalty, Gordon. She's on the job.
And as Law Connect go for their final jibe into the finish.
They just jibed to a head sail. They're not going to put the reacher back up. Look at all that crew there. There's... oh, they are putting the reacher back up. Double head rig to the finish.
As much power as possible.
We'll get a delta here. Okay, there they go. There's the committee boat just right on their bow. They're a little... need to put the bow down a little bit. And we'll get a time delta here.
They've certainly increased the margin.
Okay, they're there almost. 3, 2, 1. I'll give it minute 31. Olivia, are you close to that?
I agree, Peter. We'll see what we can do with that. As Scallywag approaches what could be their final jibe, although they may have to jibe just across the line on the other tack.
The orange storm jib set as a staysail, which as of next year is going to be banned. But at the moment, you can do that. Next year, if you've got a storm jib up, you can't have any other sail forward of the mast. But this year you can for the Rolex Hobart race. And then, are they there yet, the Scallywag?
Not yet, but they look like they've definitely closed the distance to Law Connect at the end there.
So the 3 100-footers across, Master Lock Comanche. In the end, it was another command performance from Law Connect, who kept them honest, that's for sure. And SHK Scallywag, David, with a very creditable about third over the line.
2.5 to Scallywag behind Master Lock Comanche.
And now we go and see how Wild Thing 100 and also the mini maxis, Peter.
Can URM hold the Wild Thing off? What a performance for URM. Wonderful.
I did declare that they may be my favourite boat today for a number of reasons, but I think they've really earned their name as the people's boat. this today in the SOLAS Big Boat Challenge, because they've really thrown it down to the 100-footers as they come charging down. It looks like there's even more pressure than when we crossed here just 5 minutes ago, Peter.
Well, they love throwing it down to the 100-footers. Even in a first race for Anthony Johnson in the Sydney Hobart, she was dicing with the leaders down the Tasmanian coast. So it's a real rocket ship. And Anthony Johnson and his four brothers delighted with this performance by URM Group, which will confirm them as the Australian Maxi Champion for 2025. Having a real dice here with Wild Thing 100.
You can see that Wild Thing 100 has just overtaken the URM Group, just taken their wind, and we may see just a little depower from URM as they try and create a closer angle towards to just keep their boat speed going, because remember, this is still the overall title on the line, which is what URM Group is really going for.
And certainly a boat like Wild Oats 10 is very much in contention for overall honours in this SOLAS Big Boat Challenge, being 6 feet shorter than URM Group and with a better handicap. So that's a nice hit out for Mark Richards, Peter Shipway, on Wild Oats 10. A lot of his crew will be on board Palm Beach 11 for the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Well, it might be, but the new boat they're going to inherit is very different to this boat. That is for sure. I don't think anyone knows what to expect with a new Palm Beach 11, but let's hope they can get the job done in time and get out to this starting line on Boxing Day. But boy, they've got a bit of work ahead of them. Not only the work on the boat, but to tune the boat, to get it sailing, to do their qualifying race. They've got a lot on, but full marks to them. Let's hope they can get it done. As we're just watching Wild Thing and URM storming up their exhaust pipe.
So it's been about 5 minutes since Master Lock Comanche crossed the line. And so with the first 300-footers crossing, we will get Wild Thing looking like they're in place to sit in fourth in their place over the line. But it's URM Group that's done fantastically and jumped ahead of the other mini maxis that you could have seen just round Shark Island in the background before.
So will that performance here today be good enough to clinch the overall handicap victory in this SOLAS Big Boat race for URM Group?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm just doing rough calculations on the handicap, Gordon. They rate just very similarly to Wild Oats 10. They've got to give her about 30 seconds an hour, and the race has been going about an hour and a half, so let's call it 50 seconds. They're well ahead of that.
So unofficially then, Peter, she's...
Well, I've just got to see where Money Penny and No Limit are. They rate lower, but I think they're a fair way back. But we'll just calculate that unofficially when they cross the line. But URM doing it nicely off Garden Island.
You can see the team. Yeah, the team on URM, because the pressure is a little bit lighter, they moved all their weight forward and also down to the leeward side to try and create as much power as possible. Being on board this boat twice for some offshore racing, they really are trying to get as many centimetres and inches against their competitors as they can and push the boat to the limit. So it's great to see that they're just continuing this the whole way through.
Yeah, as you say, the breeze got softer up here near the finishing line, and bow up and a couple jibes in to cross the finishing line off Lady Macquarie's chair. There's Wild Thing. There's Fort Denison just to the leeward of the leech of the reacher there. So he's got a minute or so before the jibe. There's Grant Warrington at the helm. Keegan York aboard, a well-known 18-foot skiff sailor. Nigel Abbott doing his first Hobart on board. Very outstanding Victorian yachtsman, and Nigel's son's on board as well, doing his first Hobart. Yeah, both bow up here and very light.
They'll be going as far as they can towards Fort Denison, which is probably only 2 more boat lengths for the Wild Thing 100 before furling and jibing for the second last time just to be able to cross the line again. But URM Group is just in behind there, and would be thinking to jibe first here with their flying spinnaker.
Okay, URM into the jibe.
And it looks like Wild Thing 100 is going to go the other side of Fort Denison. Interesting move.
Yeah, what's Warro going to do here? He's always up for a trick or two, Warro.
I'll do it my way.
Considering
he's going to be tight coming back when he jives back.
Yeah, considering the finish is in line with Fort Denison, they're going to have to sail a bit of extra distance here. URM group could...
pip them at the post.
Yeah.
He goes, Warro, what's he doing?
A little bit in shock.
Here he comes. Okay, well, he's round. Unfurled still to happen.
Wasn't their best. A bit messy there.
They've got a bit of... just the unfurl came out. He's going to be tight into the finish. On port jibe. Still going to shoot that in, Warro, to get up to the line.
It's going to be a photo finish.
It certainly is. URM group just coming into the picture there. And it looks like it's...
Yeah, they're going to beat Warro across, I think.
It is. It's going to be the URM group.
Yeah.
Approaching at very different angles.
Here comes Warro at 100 mile an hour. They've got to stay out of his way here, URM. Oh. Fabulous action at the end.
And there we go.
20 metres to go. URM group has done it.
Okay. 9 minutes 40 behind Comanche, URM.
And a bowsprit in it. That was the difference. What a finish.
Great performance from URM. Johnson Brothers and Marcus Ashley Jones.
Steered by Anthony Nossiter, Peter.
Well, he knows his way around. Old Knocker and Jason Waterhouse, very competent, outstanding crew. So we're going back now to look at Wild Oats 10. And they're still a little way off the finish. They're off Garden Island, just jibing now. So they won't beat URM on handicap. This is unofficial, of course. Got to get that windward sheet off, boys. Get the windward sheet ease. Come on, come on. Rico, calm down. Get the windward sheet off. Ah, that's better. Let her breathe. Now, who we got next? Is that Money Penny? And then after that will be No Limit. But let's concentrate on the finish now of Wild Oats 10.
There's about equal distance between Wild Oats 10, Money Penny, and then again with No Limit. So they are going to be coming in one after the other as they finish out.
So, Peter, with No Limit being the best rating boat of these mini maxis, are they in with a chance of pipping URM group?
Yes, is the short answer. The long answer is B. I'll have to work it out, but
What school did you go to?
I'm okay. I'm all right on the maths. Just watching Wild Oats now. So unofficially, I'm saying Wild Oats will not beat URM on time, but they will all beat Comanche and Law Connect and Scallywag.
And low limit is an outside chance of beating URM.
No, don't get too excited, Gordon. Just leave it with me.
Okay.
Leave it with me.
Yeah. I just noticed your fingers are getting a bit twitchy, that's all.
So we're just
on Wild Oats 10 as they approach their final jibe going into the finish. A reminder that they weren't part of the Maxi Championship.
So there's Money Penny sliding past Fort Denison. Still got one more jibe in, I think. Wild Oats still not there in the distance. Yeah, there's Wild Oats just jibing to come into the finishing line now. Where I think they across.
Not just yet.
Okay, so that's I just can't see the... Oh, where's the committee boat?
Yeah, just in front of them there. I'd say in the next 5 seconds there, Peter, and you can start doing some more maths.
You can tell us how Moneypenny's going, Peter.
Yes, just one thing at a time, Gordon. Okay, so 13:09.
So you can see the top of the screen, that was Wild Oats 10, just crossing the finish line, and then it's Moneypenny off Mrs. McCory's chair just to windward of them, and just in front of us here is rounding out the fleet is No Limit.
And they have the lowest handicap.
Yep. David Goat steering. Billy Merrington in his ear. There's Goatsy there with the cream hat on. And in the distance, Moneypenny. Okay, we've got No Limit. Coming in now. Port Jibe. 1 and in. Moneypenny still not there.
I think it's been a fantastic race to have everyone, almost reset again and start again at Canai Point for the first time, and then still be within each other, touching distance of each other throughout this whole race for the last hour and a half. And there's Moneypenny just finishing.
Okay, well, she was about 5 minutes behind URM, so URM will beat her on handicap. No Limit coming in now with about, 60 or 80 metres to go. Got one jibing in.
Peter, the thing about No Limit, they in all 3 passage races, they beat the 100-footers overall on handicap. So they've sailed splendidly over these last 5 days. Great effort by No Limit.
Inside jibe. Take a bit of work to get that through. We've got a delta coming up to 15. Okay, they're jibed, they're through, and are they there?
Yep,
You're there,
and that's
there.
it.
Okay, I've got the delta there, 15:18. Okay, it's stressing unofficial. I have URM first on handicap, this is. No Limit second. And then
Moneypenny or Wild Oats 10?
Close. Can't pick it.
You sound like a race caller.
Photo finish there.
Yeah.
But I think URM has won on handicap and will clinch the Maxi Series and clinch SOLAS Big Boat on handicap.
Stupendous performance by URM, Sustainable Waste Management. The URM group, they've got 2 ace Dutch sailors added to their ranks, and we're coming up alongside them at the moment. They're looking resplendent, Olivia Price, in their blue URM shirts and their
What sort of blue would you call that, Gordon? Is that a...
well, it's sort of sky blue, Peter, at sunset.
Oh, it's not sky blue. Sky blue is the colour of the sky. It's dark blue. Navy
I said
blue.
at sunset.
Oh, sunset. Anyway, we just got a nice message from one of Australia's great sailors, Ian Smith, who has won many races on Wild Oats, 11. Smithy's 2 sons are both on Master Lock Comanche, so I'm sure he's a pretty proud dad. So hello to you, Smithy. He sends his best wishes, and so we send them back to you, and best wishes for Christmas to you and the family. And I'm sure you'll be have all eyes on Comanche for the big one, and they did an outstanding job today. Harry on board as well on Comanche, and Ollie alongside. There's Wild Thing, Warrow. Well,
They had their moments.
Had their moments, but...
they kept it interesting at the finish there too, right
did.
to the end.
Yeah, you never let you down, Warrow. There's always something spectacular about him.
And so we're seeing CYCA Sailing Manager Tara Blank Ramos pass off a flag to Dave Johnston of URM. I think think it's Dave. Yes, it is. So one of the co-owners of the URM group. And I believe that means that it's been confirmed they are the Australian Maxi Champions for 2025.
Well, my maths was correct. I'm very good at maths, Gordon. I told you that.
It's a huge rap for your mathematics teacher at Vaucluse Boys High School. But URM Group have become Australian Maxi Champion for the third time. They looked as though they'd won it last year, but then a protest by Wild Oats 10 took the title away from them. But they've certainly made amends here today with their 22-strong crew. And I mentioned those two ace Dutchmen, Jordan van Rooyen, the bowman, and navigator Max Dekkers, who came out to Australia earlier this year and have been part of the team.
Well, one thing I know, it'll be a good party at the CYC tonight with those Johnson boys leading from the front. So if you want a drink, you probably get to the club, I'd say.
All boarders at the great Catholic rugby nursery, St Joseph's College at Hudders Hill.
It's been an incredible team effort from the URM team, obviously led by Marcus Ashley-Jones and Tim Sellers to get, after last year's Rolex Sydney Hobart disappointment of being dismasted, to purchase a mast from Europe overseas, bring some sails over as well, and completely retune and rejig the boat. It's been an incredible effort to firstly get it up and running. They weren't able to get in time for the Noakes Sydney Gold Coast, but were part of the rest of the Blue Water Point Score series and are also leading that series as well overall. So, you know, it really is so far a great successful campaign with one more race to go.
Marcus Ashley-Jones actually went over to Europe to try and source that the new mast, and they finally found one actually in New York. He inspected, gave it the pass, it was put on a ship as is, and here's the end result. They lost 4 of their sails overboard at 10 o'clock off Montague Island last year in the Rolex Sydney Hobart. I guess if you speak to the bank manager about that one, it's probably $500,000 worth all up with the rig and the sails. But I think they were well covered by insurance. Well, I think we're all just catching our breaths. Maybe this is our opportunity to point towards the Rolex Sydney Hobart, Olivia, and the way people can follow the race. You, Peter Shipway, and myself will be calling the start on the 9 network on Boxing Day, which will be a huge thrill. And we'll have some great co-commentators, Jimmy Spithill, who did the Hobart as a young man. I think it might have been in that 1998 race. I'm not sure about that. But one of the legends of Australian sailing, Jimmy Spithill, and Lisa Darmanin.
Yeah, it's
your
great.
Crew member in the America's Cup.
Exactly. You know, it's great to be part of the commentary team for start day of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. Obviously, there's plenty of work for some of these teammates and crew members to get done in between, but we can't wait to get started.
And Peter Shipway, Peter's in the shadow, unfortunately. We just wanted to see. He's been relegated to the back stalls today on Sail Media. Where's he gone, Peter? Turn the flash, turn your torch back on.
I'm still here. I haven't jumped overboard. No, look, I think in summary of today, Gordon, it was a spectacular day on the harbour. Wonderful day for the spectators, and exciting up at Canai Point the first time especially. Masterlock Comanche, very solid, outstanding really, held their nerve a couple of times, but some good performances throughout the fleet. But really, in the lead up to the Hobart race, was a flex of the muscle, nothing more than that. You couldn't read too much into it, but you could read into it that URM will be one of the favourites for handicap honours for the Rolex Sydney Hobart race. They've been outstanding all season. But there's some good competitors out there that are smaller boats and the middle-sized boats. They won't have everything their own way in the race. And as we saw last year, you've got to finish this race first. If you have a misadventure like they did, well, that's not good for the result. at all. But there's some small boats there. There's some 50-footers that'll make things interesting. And, of course, if the weather gods are such that the big boats get in and the weather closes down, well, any of the big maxis could win on corrected time also. And some of the small boats, some of the little double-handers as well, they could always figure in. There's boats like Smuggler, who won the Blue Water Championship last year. Callisto from New Zealand, I like her chances early on. Very good crew. She'll be pushed very hard. Mistral, the little double-hander for Rupert Henry, going for 4 wins in a row in the double-hander division. If he gets his conditions, he'll take some beating. But overall, 140 boats, I think there's probably about 20 or 30 that you could say are real chances to win this Rolex Sydney Hobart race on handicap.
Yeah, well, half the fleet, Peter, of the 130-odd are 40 feet and under, and we could easily see the winner coming from that bunch on the overall. And remember, URM Group has won everything, but they have never won the major prize, the Rolex Sydney Hobart, agonisingly close in 2023 when they were pipped by just 20 minutes by Alive. So it's all with them in 2025. And how do we follow the Rolex Sydney Hobart yacht race? Olivia Price.
It's, well, start day 1 o'clock. Coverage will start from 12:30 on the 9 network all around Australia, and then the tracker is going to be live straight after the start. So head to rolexsydneyhobart.com and click on tracker. There's information out daily about updates. The social media channels at Rolex Sydney Hobart or official Rolex Sydney Hobart on Instagram, as well as the CYCA TV, YouTube and Instagram pages as well. There's plenty of places to stay up to date across the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
So on that note, on behalf of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia and the SOLAS Trust, Olivia Price, Peter Shipway will sign off from Sydney Harbour. James Bury, Sail Media and all the team, and we look forward to the Rolex Sydney Hobart start on Boxing Day.